So I wanted to tell a story, and this story is just kind of random and, something that came to mind the other day for some reason because I was actually following my wife's car and we were driving somewhere. We both had our two cars someplace where we met, and I was following her, and I just was kind of in that autopilot mode where I ended up just pulling into a driveway after her and didn't think twice about it, and then thought to myself, oh, you know what, I wanted to park on the street so I don't block her car in. And so it just made me think that there was a story that I remember my grandmother telling me about my aunt, or my great aunt. It was my grandmother's sister. And this one night she was just driving along. This was my aunt's sister. Her name was Aunt Betty. And Aunt Betty was driving along in a storm, and she actually didn't like driving. She hated it, but she, had to do it in order to get around. And she was driving in a very foggy, dark night, driving down kind of a dark road, but following a car in front of her. And she was kind of close, she was, close enough that it might have been dangerous if the car stopped too fast, like that whole following too close law. Actually, that's a law. At least in Connecticut, you can get a ticket for following too close. So she was following this car. It was foggy. She was on her way home. She was just thinking, like I can't see very well, so as long as I can see those headlights, or I mean taillights in front of me, I know that I'm okay. And so she followed that car, and noticed the car, put its blinker on and turned, and she followed the car, thinking I just got to stay close because I can't see anything else. And the car all of a sudden stopped, and she hit it, and she slammed into the back of this car, and she was kind of panicking, and she, of course she was all upset, and she gets out of the car and she's like looking around, and she can see a structure, and she's like, oh my gosh, the car must have, hit some structure, and then I hit the car. And then she gets out and she kind of starts to focus, and the guy gets out of his car and starts yelling at her, and is like, what the heck are you doing in my garage? And she's like, your garage? And she kind of realized the guy had pulled into his driveway, pulled into his garage, and she just followed him and slammed into the back of his car while he was parked in his garage. And what a surprise that was for her, for the guy, and probably the insurance company. And if she had State Farm, they'd make some kind of bronzed statue to put in their museum to say that, they know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two. So that was just kind of an interesting, random, funny story.